This is the Slim Hardy Mystery Series, Books 7 to 9, boxed set. Written by Jack Benton, narrated by Kevin E. Green. When the Wind Blows. The Slim Hardy Mysteries, Book 7. Written by Jack Benton, narrated by Kevin E. Green. Chapter 1. The newspaper lay in pieces around his feet. He leaned down to pick them up, but instead toppled forwards, lost his step and almost collapsed on his face, avoiding a full collision with the ground only due to one last desperate reflex that hadn't deserted him. He jarred his wrist instead, slumped to his hands and knees, then closed his eyes, waiting for the world to go still. When he opened his eyes again a few seconds later, the wind had begun to disperse the damp, shredded pieces, scattering them across the cliff-top. He watched a few catch in the updraft from the rocky shore below, dancing frantically like drunken butterflies before sailing away, back over his head to snag on the bent and tangled hawthorn trees along the cliff path. "I'm sorry," he whispered, then tried to stand, wobbling unsteadily on his feet as he staggered to the cliff edge. Grey breakers crashed against the rocky shore. The cliff here was almost sheer. One more decent stride forward would be enough to end everything. The years of pain and struggle, of defying the ghosts and fighting the enemy that battled him from within. He lifted his left foot a couple of inches, but there his nerve failed him. He couldn't find that last push. He was too afraid. Instead he turned away, the wind ruffling his clothes and leaving his hair a wild mess, rushing down his collar and up his sleeves, chilling him, reminding him that he was still alive. And perhaps, while he lived, he still had some value. He felt the bottle in his pocket, shifting about, and in a sudden fit of rage pulled it free and threw it with all his might over the cliff edge. It sailed high, tumbling through the wind to land in the churning waves. The water sucked it under, then it reappeared, bobbing among the breakers. Tears filled his eyes, and he knew that later he would search for it along the shore, in the hope that the last dribble of amber liquid might still be found inside. Then, with one last bitter look at the water, John Slim Hardy stuffed his hands into his pockets, feeling the last pieces of the newspaper he had not discarded under his rough fingers, turned and headed back down the cliff path. A lonely, resilient cafe stood at the top of the rocky beach. Slim went inside, bracing against...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?